All right, so today we have to tell a story that happened exactly 1 year ago today. So we're celebrating the anniversary, and it's a story so wild that I can't tell it by myself because I need everyone's perspective.
Evidence that it happened. So.
Over blurry.
Yeah. We'll start by saying that...
Camp Nicole.
So, okay. It was our good friend Nicole's birthday, and we wanted to throw,
20th birthday.
20th birthday.
Not that serious.
Yeah,
It was very serious.
We wanted to throw, a party for her, and then one of our friends, who we won't mention by name because let's not get too crazy, hosted it for us. So,
Yeah.
hosted Camp Nicole. We took notes because we're, trash.
So basically, the theme of the party was, camp inspired. And
It's
we
like
basically,
Pinteresty.
Yeah, Pinteresty. And, people are supposed to camp over there, right?
Yeah, we're supposed
Yeah,
to
it was,
stay overnight in
Pinteresty.
camp. But little did we know.
Don't get your
hopes up.
suburban adults in our area love drunk driving, and we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
That's just a teaser for what's to come.
So, people were drinking. There's, some people over 21. If not, they were, 20. It's fine. So, it was, swimming, drinking, and then we have this lovely band from our high school that is pretty good. They're really good, actually. And they offered, well, they didn't offer. We asked them if they would play at this birthday party, and they said yes. So once night fell, they started playing in the garage, and everyone's, dancing, having a good time. And they played, a set of, 5 or 6 songs, I want to say.
I think it's good to note that it was a pretty mild night. I don't think it was, the absolute most reckless, crazy night I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
How many people would you say were there? 20?
Yeah, it
was
wasn't
20.
even
It was
more
our
than
good
there was,
friends. We all knew each other pretty well.
Yeah.
It was just a birthday party consisting of 20 people that we all knew.
Yeah, so it wasn't a fucking, it wasn't Project X or anything.
It was Project Y.
And it was on
Project
it was on
B.
a Friday night or
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah.
It was on a
It was a
weekend
weekend.
night in the summer.
10:30
Yeah.
or 11 this actually
Not
started
even
going
midnight.
down.
I know. So basically, and I think it's important to note also that the person that was hosting it, her parents were out of town. But it wasn't out of town throwing a party, we're fucking 20 years old. It wasn't we're 14, 16, whatever.
T.
So that's just a little side note. But anyways, so let me set the mood. Dancing, having a great time. The band, the lovely band, goes to play. They announce, this is our final song. They announce that. And they go to play their last song. And in the last few crucial seconds of the song, literally, they're playing
And we're having a great time.
Yeah, nothing's going wrong. Everyone's having so much fun. They're playing the actual last note of the song, literally finishing the song. And all of a sudden, on the garage, you hear, the most aggressive fucking banging I've ever heard in my entire life.
Literally big, mighty banging.
It's But anyways, the big, mighty banging. And
God is here. God is here, and he is upset. I heard the banging, and I immediately went outside and was okay, we get it. We're in a suburb.
And did they even say that?
That was the thing, is this was not the beginning. My thought process is, okay, noise complaint. We get it. We're in the suburbs. Y'all go to bed at 8. We get noise complaint.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to these people. Just, hey, okay, you know what, band's done. I'm sorry it was loud. Band's done. Okay, right? That's what in my head was upcoming.
Yeah, so that's what we thought. And then they obviously finished the song because they were 2 notes away from finishing the song. So they finish up while they're still banging. It literally was 10 seconds longer. And then everyone's okay. So I think we went back, we went outside of the garage to because we weren't gonna we didn't want to let them through the garage, I don't think.
No, we were just not gonna open the garage. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
so
just band equipment.
We're let's go
people.
around to the front and kind of see what's going on and who it is. So we went out to the garage and through, they have a side gate on their backyard, and they're standing there, and they're literally standing in front of the side yard, and they're they go they let themselves in, to the backyard.
They open the fence
and they
come
block it off. They start yelling at everyone.
There was no game plan here. This was too, I just need to say, I feel this is such a good story to tell because it just frames our suburban community so well.
Honestly,
and their priorities, and
Yeah.
they had no game plan, but they had obviously nothing exciting happen to them all year. I'm sure they probably come outside and talk to their neighbors when they hear an ambulance go by. So This was big, exciting. Oh my! This is the thrill of the year for them, and they just
Literally.
came here to
Lifetime.
fuck. They just came here to fuck shit up.
So basically, they let themselves into the side yard, and they're standing like in front of the backyard. And our friend who's hosting, nowhere to be found. Like no one knows where she is at this point. Anyways, so we start like getting into like a physical altercation, if you will, with these people because they start saying, "What are you guys doing? Like, how old are you? Like, blah blah blah." And we're not like we said, it's not a crazy party. Like, I don't really feel like we would get a noise complaint if that's what they were doing, but it's not what they were doing. So the mom specifically starts blocking people off from the side, and she's literally standing like this. Like a big, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was grabbed.
Like a huge blockade, and we're like, duh. And she's like, you guys need to leave. You need to go home right now. And we're like,
Very physical.
so basically, my friend Skylar and me, we were standing there, and we were like, okay, like a lot of people are drinking. Like, how are we supposed to like go home? Like we were planning on staying the night. Like it's a camp out. And she's like, I don't care, just go. And we're like, okay. And then we're like, even if we were to go, like our stuff is in the backyard. Like you have to let us in and get it. And she's like, no, get it tomorrow. And we're like, what the fuck? And I was like, even our like keys are there. She's like, I don't care. Like get it tomorrow. And we're like, what do you want from us? We can't leave. We can't drive. We can't even get our things.
Not even your home.
Fucking mess. So basically what I did, because I was fucking pissed at this point. So I would love to reenact this if anyone is down.
Do you need?
You probably
can-
remember it better than I do.
Basically, she's standing like a huge like blockade, and I take her and I literally push under her arm, like her flabby ass arm, may I add, and I like duck under her and I just go under and like dip to the backyard, and then like people start following me, and it was really iconic, and that was like my hulking
Honestly,
out
we
moment.
could have all beaten them if we went to.
We could all beat the
If
shit.
Yeah,
literally,
honestly,
yeah.
And then I don't know. I guess she like assaulted others. What about you?
Yeah,
I guess
she
I
assaulted me. I
her.
remember she grabbed me and like wouldn't let me go, and I was like, "Can you let me go? Like, who is this woman?"
They're psychotic as fuck. So anyways, after we literally push through their arms, we go into the backyard and we're just like kind of sitting there, and like I remember you, but you can't remember exactly what happened, but I know you were like arguing with the mom.
I was taken over by just like confusion and like rage because like literally this
Same.
lady just like, again, they had no game plan. Like, what do you want us? Do you want us to leave? Okay, we'll find a way to get home, but like,
'Cause we're not
you want
about
us to-
drinking and driving.
Yeah, no,
We're not
no,
gonna
we're
do
not
that.
going to do that. So we're to their face. We're like, we're not going to leave. You know, we're not going to drive home. We've been drinking. And she's like, oh, you know, and as Alexis pointed out, it's like
She
we
literally
can't
told
we
us.
can't get our stuff out of the backyard. Meanwhile, the host of this party is like nowhere to be found. This was just all up in the air, weird. And then so I was fighting with her about that. And the next thing we know, she's going in the house.
Yeah.
We don't even know who these people are. Like we're a bunch of ranging between 19 and 21 years old. So
Yeah.
so it's not like we're like these helpless kids. Like we're very confused at these
Yeah.
people entering the house.
So basically, we were just sitting in the backyard, and for me, like, I was just doing it to be a dick because they're, like, telling us to leave, and I was like, no, like, I don't want to leave just because you're telling us to, and, like, also, we're kind of concerned about our friend because we don't even know if she knows these people or, like, what's going on. So we're sitting in the backyard, and I just see the lady, like, open the back door and, like, go into the house, and I was like, excuse me? Like, what the fuck? So she just goes in the house, and then she fucking comes and barricades the inside, too, won't let anyone go inside. So we're
Yeah.
like, we can't, like, get anywhere, and we're, like, trying to find our friend because we're obviously, like, concerned. And it's important to note that our friend that was hosting was, like, probably very, like, drunk and, like, out of it. So we were just, like, also concerned for her safety, as I said. After chilling in the backyard for a little bit, and she's, like, blocking the inside, I think the girl that's hosting, her other friend that we don't know that well, was, like, inside. And I went through the, like, side door and somehow got and was talking to her friend. And her friend was, like, on the phone, and she was like, my mom's, like, an attorney or something. Like, we should, like, whatever. And then she told me, she was like, the girl that's hosting, our friend, is locked up in a room, and they, like, took her cell phone away from her. Wouldn't let her call her parents. And she's, like, obviously, like, drunk out of her mind. So we were very concerned. And they literally locked her in a room and were just, like, in her face. Like, I don't know, like, do you have anything to add? Like, basically,
Yeah,
that's, like, what it was.
It was just this really confusing thing where we were like, this isn't right. Like, again, it was like a mild drinking night. Like, I think a few people were like a little out of it, but like for me, like I wasn't that out of it. Like I was honestly like, I'm way too coherent for this to be happening right now.
So basically what happened is, like, the girl was on the phone with her, like, parents, and they were like, we should call the police because they're, like, literally trapping in her room, and oh fuck, I can't say her name. I'll bleep it out. They're trapping our friend in her room, and they like won't let her out. They took away her phone. They won't let her call her parents. Like, we don't even know if she knows who these people are, which is like why we're like super concerned, because they literally could be anyone. And like the fact that these random strangers, at least to us, we think they're strangers, just fucking let themselves into this person's house, and we're like, that could be anyone. Like, and that's like super illegal.
They were basically acting like we were 12 years old too.
Yeah, like people can't
we
just
had no
come
idea
into
what
your
we were
house.
doing.
Like, that's definitely
Yeah.
illegal. Anyways, so me and this other girl decide to call the police because we just decide it's in the best interest for everyone, because this girl's locked in her room. People are like, they're telling people to drink and drive. Like, they broke into this person's house. We have no idea who they are. And like, I don't know. And if you think in a normal situation, if anyone like just walked into your house, you would probably call the police. So it seemed like the right thing to do.
And I think that's generally a gut instinct, is like, okay, like we do like look for a certain protection, and I think that it could have ended up better than it did, but I think that this was really very much assured that the cops in our area have probably two priorities. One, the dangerous marijuana smoking teens, and two, the dangers of loud parties in the suburbs. And so immediately they show up and completely disregard us. Will not listen to anything we have to say. I mean, someone could be dead in the house, and they're not listening to us. They go straight up to these adults who
Didn't even call them in the first
didn't
place.
call them, are completely belligerent, are completely inappropriate, embarrassing themselves, and
They weren't drunk though.
they weren't, but that would excuse them a little more, because this is an absurd situation. So we get no help from.
Yeah, so we try to talk to the cops. We're like, we called you, like, and they're like, hold on. And they're like talking to these parents. And I swear to God, these parents are like fucking pretending they were the ones that called the cops, even though they had no idea. Like, we were the ones that called them. So we're like, it just goes to show, like, we called the cops for them to help us, and they like immediately go to the parents. And like Nick said, like, someone could literally be dead in the house. They wouldn't know, because they wouldn't fucking give us the time of day. So after talking to the parents for a while, they tell us to go sit outside, like, on the curb. And we're just like sitting there, and we're trying to tell them, like, this is what's happening, like, our friend is stuck in there, like, we're very worried about her, you know? And we don't know who these people are. They broke in the house, and they're just, like, completely ignoring us, whatever, talking to the parents. The parents are, like, pretty much acting like they called the cops, saying, like, we're having a party, like, whatever. So we're sitting on the curb. Then this guy comes out from the party. I think this is an important thing to add. And he's, like, crying, freaking out, because I guess he brought his cat, because he was, like, staying with this girl on, like, a vacation or whatever. And he's like, my cat's in the house. Like, you can't leave the doors open. And I get it, because I have a cat, and I fucking freak out when people have the doors open.
We love BB.
And the cops, like, and they wouldn't let him in the house to find his cat. And he's freaking out, like, crying, like, flipping a bitch. It was rough. So that was just, like, one side of the cops being a dick. Anyways, as we're sitting on the curb, the cops come up to us, and a cop shines a fucking light in my face and goes, Alexis? And I was like, not today, Satan. So this officer, his name's Officer I'm probably going to bleep that out because, like, I don't know.
We might get sued for slander.
Yes,
so.
but fuck Officer is the thing. But anyways, he's, like, my friend from middle school's stepdad, so I kind of know him because I used to go over to their house a lot.
Imagine if she watches this video.
I mean, she probably won't, but if she does, hey, like, I don't have nothing against you. Just your stepdad's a dick. Yeah. Anyways, so I was like, yeah, and he's like, it's like me, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, like, whatever. He's like, I bet you've been drinking, haven't you? He's, like, going up into my face. And I was like, actually, no, I haven't. And he's like, yeah, like, okay. And, like, here's the thing. Normally, I would drink. Don't get me wrong. But I just recently, like, I went through a lot of hospital things because I was, like, severely dehydrated. And I was still recovering from that. So I, like, wasn't really drinking. Or not, like, I wasn't drinking at all, but I, like, wasn't supposed to be drinking was the point. So anyways, I was the little sober Sally for this party. And he's like, oh, I bet you, like, blah, blah. And I was like, actually, no, I wasn't. Like, you can fucking breathalyze me if you want. And even if I was, like, okay, it's, like, irrelevant. But anyways.
It still shouldn't make you, like, condescending. Like, we're still, like, we're not, like, coherent.
Yeah. So we're just, like, sitting there. And he's like, he's like, what if I called your dad right now? And I was like, honestly, like, please do. I was like, first of all, like, I know you don't have his fucking number. And I was like, second of all, my dad has no idea who you are, I guarantee it. Like, if you call my father right now, like, in the middle of the night, and you say, like, hi, this is, like, Officer, he's gonna be like, who the fuck? Like, who the fuck are you? So that was, like, kind of my thing, and I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to let him know, like, I'm going to call him. And I was like, I'm not going to give you his number, so, like, go ahead.
This whole story is basically just summarized by, like, a huge power trip by adults that have nothing better to do.
Yeah,
But
pretty
anyways,
much.
keep continuing.
Yeah, sorry. This is just, like, my personal experience, and then you guys can say, like, any, like, personal things you had, because I just feel like because he, like, knew me, he was, like, being a dick, especially just, like, to me, like, literally going in on me for no reason. He was like, you need to call a parent to pick you up. And I was like, okay, like, first of all, we could walk, we could Uber, like, I could drive, like, everything's fine, you know? And he, like, made it, oh, I don't know what that was, but it's fine. It's Officer anyways.
Haunting us from the dead.
Yeah, anyways, he made me fucking call my mom, like, in the middle of the goddamn night. And I felt so bad because I was like, I drove here, we could walk, like, we could Uber, like, we could sleep here. Like, there's so many options. I don't want to have to wake up my parents. Like, we're too old for this, you know? So I had to call my mom. She's like, whoa, what's going on? And I was like, hey, Mom, like, Officer is being a dick and, like, making us have to, I can't talk, making you have to pick us up. So, anyways, my mom came to the house, picked us all up, and then my mom was, like, talking with him, and I was like, don't give him the fucking time of day. Like, he doesn't deserve this, you know? This is probably where I was in the wrong because I was kind of being a little bitch, but, like, he deserved it at this point. So basically what happened was... Okay, basically my mom was like, Alex, why don't you come sit in the car and, like, wait? And then he's like, yeah, why don't you go sit in the car? And I, like, went up in his face, and I was like, actually, I don't have to listen to anything you have to say. And then my mom got so fucking mad at me, and she started yelling at me. And then I just sat on the ground, like, outside on the pavement because I was, like, trying to make a statement or whatever, and it was a really...
Rebellious teen.
A rebellious teen, LMAO. The only reason my mom was like that, I don't think she knew what was going on. So when we got home, I, like, explained the whole situation to her, and then, yeah. So, anything you guys have to add before I go to the next day?
Yeah, I feel like you have better memory than me and Mallory do, but I just remember being very exhausted and just feeling way too old for this. And that was probably just, like, my last straw with, like, going to a party in this area because it's just, like, very tiring, like, how uptight people are and, like... Again, like, I just think this would have been an entirely different situation if we had just been given one single opportunity to turn it down. There was no complaint. It was a crazy power trip by these adults, and I don't think, to this day, 1 year later, we shouldn't have stood for it, and we didn't. And you know what, I really want to write the URL to this video and, like, leave it on their doorstep. Should we do that?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I'm considering
We'll do a follow-up if we do that.
I mean, I just feel like we were definitely just taken advantage of, and it was just extremely disrespectful. And even though I was drunk, like, I still, like, I was trying to, like, speak for myself. Like, I wasn't incoherent. Like, I was still, like, can you not, like, touch me? Like, we're fine. But they didn't give us any, like, time to just explain ourselves or ask us politely. They just rammed and came in and, like, didn't even, like, talk to us like we were humans. Like, they literally attacked us.
Literally.
And
yeah.
so it was just bizarre and,
like, I mean, I just wish this was just, like, caught on True TV or something because, like, these people were embarrassing themselves, and
I know,
it's
fuck
just
them.
a shame that, like, no one got to see how embarrassing they were, and just weird and strange. And I hope, you know, their kids make it out all right of that house. Like,
Yeah.
damn.
these people just have a lot of deep-seated issues.
Deep-seated.
probably.
Yeah, so basically to wrap this up, the next morning we went back to our friend's house to, like, you know, follow up, check in, make sure everything's okay. She said she had no idea who these people were, so that's, like, so concerning to me. And then upon later, she found out they were her neighbors, so if that means
That
anything.
she, like, barely, she hasn't talked to them in, like, 10 years.
Yeah, I guess she's, like, met them, like, once, like, 10 years ago or something. And she, like, has no idea who they are. And they were, like, in contact with their parents. And the whole thing was just a fucking mess. So that's, like, so crazy. So think about if it's okay to, like, break into someone's house, especially if you don't even know them.
Yeah.
So that's, like, the moral of the story is fuck the police. Just kidding. It's more fuck the parents, not, well...
It's just, like,
fuck
suburban
both.
adults have some serious thinking to do and, like, need to reevaluate, like, their priorities and, like, kind of loosen up a little bit. And I just think that's, like, get a hobby so that you have, like, an outlet to, like, release your energy rather than do it on, like, 20-year-olds.
I just think, like, the most important thing is to actually talk like we're adults and, like, humans, and to actually have a conversation with us instead of just having this weird power trip. Like, we could have easily had a conversation and been like, okay, we will leave, like, sorry about it. And they could have been like, okay, thank you.
Or
And we
just be
would have
quiet.
left.
Yeah,
And we would have
seriously.
been respectful, but they gave us no opportunity to show, like us, like how we are, and we are respectful people, and we could have shown them that, but they literally gave us no chance.
If you gotta push a bitch, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I love pushing moms.
I know. I feel like I sound all tough. Like, I'm literally not. Like, that's the toughest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Yeah, and also, don't trust the cops, because when you call them and you think they're gonna help you, they end up going to the enemy.
Which is true.
It's
and
true.
a good opportunity to make the statement that we're obviously in a lucky place and like a lucky position that like we don't have to truly be that afraid of police, but you need to reevaluate those in authority positions because they don't always have the best intentions or not always necessarily the most equipped to like deal with a situation appropriately. So
Everyone just needs to learn to listen.
Listen. With that note, we'll wrap this video up here. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Thank you guys for being in this vid. I've literally wanted to film this for so long, and then it never works because I don't know.
We get too angry and
Yeah, I get too fucking mad. I had to wait a whole goddamn year. All right, it's fine.
I am running faster. I am running out of sight. Tonight I am starting over. Running at the speed of light.